Hello, I'm Wayne Emmons. This video presents 3 of 6 cases as to why the Jewish people claimed the land of Israel. More specifically, the Jewish people settled and developed this land when no one else could or would. I want to encourage you to do your own research regarding this subject and likewise to find truth yourself. Now, to help you during your research, this video will present evidence from the Bible and modern-day facts. Not much beyond 70 years after starting with nothing and with almost no help, Israel has become one of the most successful nations on our planet. They have become a global leader with developments in technology, science, culture, medicine, and agriculture. Go to the Google search engine and type Israel's contributions to the world. It will amaze you. Then again, perhaps it's simply because of God's promises. When God spoke to Moses, as described in the Bible's chapter 3 of Exodus, he reminded Moses of the covenant he had made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. As part of this discussion, God also told Moses that he would lead the Israelites to a land flowing with milk and honey. One must imagine that this gift from God, the creator of the universe, was nothing more than absolute prime real estate. But unfortunately, after the Israelites had settled the land, they turned their backs on God. Except for a very small remnant, the Jewish people were exiled from the land by the Assyrians and Babylonians in 722 and 586 BC, respectively, and again by the Romans in 70 AD. Ever since their exiles, various empires and nations have maintained dominion over the land of Israel. For these hundreds of years, the land has been commonly recognized as harsh and undesirable for living. In 1850, Mark Twain, with a sense of honor and curiosity, visited the land we know as Israel, but he was saddened by what he discovered. Let's hear what he had to say.
A desolate country whose soil is rich enough, but is given over wholly to weeds, a silent, mournful expanse. A desolation is here that not even imagination can grace with the pomp of life and action. We never saw a human being on the whole route. There was hardly a tree or a shrub anywhere. Even the olive and the cactus, those fast friends of the worthless soil, had almost deserted the land.
It is quite interesting that while the Jewish people have gone through much persecution for nearly 2 millennia, the land of Israel itself has been in much the same condition. Not until the Jews returned to Israel in the past 100 years has the land been revived. So what does the Bible have to say about all this? Well, let's look at Amos, the 9th chapter, 14th, 15th verse. We also see another promise from God to Abraham, the patriarch of the Jewish people. Genesis 12th chapter, 3rd verse. So how is it that the land of Israel has evolved from a wasteland to a land of bounty only since the Jewish people have returned about 75 years ago. Here again, it's back to God's promises, Jeremiah 32, verse 42 through 44. As mentioned earlier, when you research Israel's contributions to the world, you'll find amazing stories about her improvements in technology, science, culture, medicine, and agriculture. With the title of today's presentation, I'll stay on topic and talk about agricultural improvements, which obviously relate to the land. Shimon Peres, the ninth president as well as a prime minister of Israel twice, had this to say: with the establishment of the state of Israel, the soil was obstinate and the environment was hostile. The kibbutz, communal farm, became an incubator and the farmers a scientist. High tech in Israel began with agriculture. Even with little land and less water, Israel became an agricultural leader. Though many still consider agriculture the epitome of low tech, they are mistaken. As you will see by visiting the website noted here, Israel's agriculture is the success story of a long, hard struggle against adverse land and climate conditions. Over half of Israel's saline soil is arid and semi-arid, and only 20% is considered suitable for growing crops. Even her natural water supplies are below UN poverty levels. Even so, since Israel's establishment in 1948, the country has almost tripled the territory used for farming, and production has multiplied 16 times. Today, she manages to produce 95% of her own food requirements. Her vegetables are shipped worldwide. Just as the Jewish people have been revived and have returned to their homeland, the land itself has been revived. Today, practically any fruit or vegetable can be grown there, and Israel is a supplier to people all across the world. I have a special treat for you in just a moment, but first, here are some other promises made by God regarding the reviving of the land. We see in Isaiah 27:6. Israel shall blossom and bud, and fill the face of the world with fruit. And then Ezekiel 34:27. The trees of the field shall yield their fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase. Isaiah 41:19. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar and the acacia tree, the cypress tree and the pine. And here are some more interesting facts. Since 1900, almost 250 million subtropical trees have been planted in all regions of Israel. Israel is one of only two countries in the world that began the 21st century with more trees than it had at the beginning of the 20th century. Israel has developed means of converting seawater into fresh, drinkable water. Israel's technology has developed aquaculture, fish farming in the desert. I could go on and on with these interesting facts. However, I promise you a treat. I will be closing out this video in just a moment, but at the end you will see a hyperlink to a marvelous video produced by the 700 Club about today's subject. By clicking on the hyperlink, you will see and hear firsthand for yourself more awesome stories about what's happening in this country, Israel, as you visit it. I promise you that it will be well worth your time. Now, as mentioned at the beginning of today's presentation, it is important that you find truth for yourself. Hopefully, what you have heard today will help you during that journey. If you would like to hear more information about this type of subjects, just hit the subscribe button below, and then, if you please, hit also the like button so you can let other people know what you think about what you've heard. I'm Wayne Emmons, helping you find truth, and I hope you will discover it for yourself. Now click on the hyperlink and watch this awesome video I mentioned a moment ago. May God bless you.